Hi, I'd like to welcome everybody who's already joined us here to our webinar, Tech Focus, Higher Profitability by Ecospeed. We're pleased that you're here with us today. My name's Lee Scott and I'll be your host during the event. We will start shortly. We're just giving more people the chance to join us before we dive right into the most economic method of machining complex aluminium structure parts in the aero industry. So throughout the event, you'll have the chance to send us your questions and comments via the chat function. You can easily access this on the right hand side of your screen. Please don't hesitate to ask us if there's anything you're specifically interested in, and we'll try and answer all of the questions during the event. I'd also like to welcome our co-hosts, Lou DeCarla, who's Head of Applications and Commissioning for Ecospeed at Starrag.
Thank you very much, Lee. It's a pleasure for me to be part of this, and I'm looking forward to the conversation with you throughout this event.
And it's also my pleasure to welcome Philip Block, who's Head of Marketing at CG Tech in Germany.
I would also like to thank our long-term partner Starrag giving CG Tech the opportunity to be part of this very special event. I'm really looking forward to it today, and I'm sure it will be exciting for everyone.
So now that we've introduced all relevant participants today and we've explained the chat function, it seems the right time to start our webinar with all the information about higher profitability by Ecospeed. So let's start. Hello and welcome to today's discussion. As you know, Starrag Group is focused heavily on a wide range of applications around the world in different industries. But today we're going to talk about aerospace, and in particular we're going to focus on aluminium machining, very high performance cutting. And this is using the Sprint Z3 head, which you'll hear about in more details. So we're going to talk firstly to Lou DeCarla, who's Head of Applications Engineering and Commissioning. And we're going to focus heavily on profitability and why these machines are so profitable. So Ludo, welcome. As Head of Applications and Commissioning for Starrag Group for Ecospeed product, you're going to introduce some new technologies to us today and talk about what makes it better, easier, cheaper, faster for our customers. Can you expand on this?
Lee, of course, thank you. Let's talk about the new Ecospeed F1540, which is supporting our brand new 150 kilowatt spindle, which is the first really on the market to produce components. And with this machine, we've not just focused on higher spindle power, but also on short delivery time. For example, you can get one of the two machines we have sitting on the shop floor here within 3 months delivery time. You just need a flat foundation. You don't need a special foundation for those machines. And it's flexible. You can start off as a standalone machine and change it into a FMS system later on if your business is growing.
So why did you go for a flat floor foundation?
Because it's easier. You don't need anything separately. You might not even need to pour a new foundation completely in your facility.
So you've made it easier for customers to install the machines. You've made it better for customers by having a faster delivery for the machines. Tell us a bit more about the technologies, the new technologies.
Of course, it's hosting all the latest technology we are offering. So it's got the latest Siemens controller, the latest drive configurations. It's got 0.7G acceleration in the X-axis, 1G in Y and Z axis. It's got everything you need to start off, including touch probing, bloom cycles, bloom measuring, sonic eye, Heidenhain precision scales, vacuum supply, temperature compensation, flood coolant, and so on and so on and so on.
So quite a lot then. You've been very busy. Can you talk about the spindle a bit more, Luda?
Of course, the latest spindle is running to 30,000 RPM at 150 kilowatts, starting at 17,000 RPM. Of the full range, you have full power. It's got next generation bearings, 80 diameter, and it even has a larger clamping force of 30 kilonewtons to have the tools even more rigidly clamped.
So you've talked a lot about the technology in the spindle, Luda, but what does this mean for customers in terms of productivity?
We are achieving the highest metal removal rate on the market. With this spindle, 150 kilowatts, anywhere between 17 and 30,000 RPM, we've achieved 18 liters a minute chip removal rate in 7000 series aluminum. Supporting with a larger bearing diameter, latest generation, increased clamping force of 30 kilonewtons for the tool clamping.
So anything above 17,000 revs, we have maximum power for roughing, and we go right up to 30,000 for smaller cutters and finishing.
The full stretch, full power.
Brilliant, I understand that. So Luda, whilst we're still talking about the spindle, there's always really inaccessible parts on these components that are difficult to reach. So in terms of the heads that we have for milling and for drilling, how do they fit and how do they operate?
Of course, the milling and drilling heads are latest technology as well. It's not just a spindle. They are attached to the spindle through a precision head coupling, and wherever you can't reach nicely with the spindle, the milling head is jumping in with 15,000 RPM at 20 kilowatts.
So there's very little lack of performance then from the milling head itself, still good for heavy, fast cuts. And how is it changed in the machine? Is it automatic?
It's completely automatic. It's automatically exchanged to the spindle and then automatically tool changed. So this whole machine is really set up for manless operation.
Superb. I'd like to go back to some of the key points that you raised earlier, Luda. You've developed an awful lot of new technologies there with all the new systems. What does that mean to the customer? What are the benefits?
For example, the touch probing, the bloom laser, the sonic eye. It's all meant for highest profitability. You don't want to have a man standing at the machine all the time. You want to have this machine running without too many interruptions of any human. You want to have it running 24/7, mainly without any interference.
So it's completely automated manufacturing with the fastest possible cycle times.
Exactly.
So Luda, we're making a big claim that EcoSpeed is the most profitable machining centre on the market. Can you tell us why?
Of course, I can. One of the key factors is labor costs in our industry. Therefore, you don't want to lose any non-productive time on your machine. And this machine is equipped with everything you need for manless operation. For example, you have a quick pallet change of just 180 seconds, and it's equipped with everything you need to run this machine manless. And on top of that, of course, we are still offering the fastest machining times on the market.
This is a very complex piece of equipment, Luda. It must be a very challenging job to program this machine.
Not at all, Lee. You can take any 5-axis CAD/CAM system and program this type of machine. There's nothing special about it. All you need is a tool path and the tool vector.
Okay, we've got an NC program. I'm assuming this is done in CAD/CAM. What about a post-processor?
Nothing special as well. We are supporting any post-processor that is existing at our customers already, or we can offer, along with our turnkey solution, for example, an NCCS post-processor, which is supporting everything you really need to run this machine. The programmer doesn't need to know anything about parallel kinematics and so on. He's just running a post-processor like everybody else around the world is operating it.
So what about things like probing and sonic eye and all of those extra technologies?
Along with that, all the Siemens functions are included. All the special functions to get it completely automated are included as well. And we are supporting a lot of our customers with our post-processor.
So once we've programmed it and we've obviously got a post-processor, how do we then validate the process before it goes into production?
Of course, as standard in aircraft industry, we are using VeriCut for this. And if you purchase one of our machines, you don't just get the 3D model of the machine, and off you go. We are even supplying the full VeriCut model of our machine, including all the functionality that we have incorporated into the controller. And it's even easier and more predictable than a Fokker type machine to run the parallel kinematics.
So why is VeriCut more predictable, Luda?
You've got only one solution. You've got endless solution with Fokker type machines, for example. And with our kinematics, you just have one solution. You don't need to worry about any shift or rotation of the component inside the machining envelope.
Well, I think that's fascinating, Luda. I think the best thing for me to do now is to let Philip Block from CG Tech talk to you directly about this. Hello, Philip. Welcome. I'll hand you over to Luda.
Hi, my name is Philip Block. I'm the marketing manager for CG Tech Germany, and I've been working for CG Tech since almost 15 years now.
Welcome, Philip. I've been just talking about the EcoSpeed is supporting all the VeriCut functions. Can you tell us a little bit more about those functions?
Sure. First of all, CG Tech and Starrag have been working together since almost 20 years now, so we know each other pretty well. And with the digital twin in VeriCut, you have the most accurate machine model of the EcoSpeed available. So you can work in a virtual environment to make sure you have no crashes with your EcoSpeed machine. And in fact, we have integrated almost everything in the new machine. So regarding the FS 1540, everything like pallet changing, head and tool changing, the NC archive, and also all the real colors of all the thousands of matching parts in the machine have been integrated into the VMC model. So you can actually tell it's by far the most realistic machine we have been done together.
Okay, so we have the digital twin, but what about the new functions? Like I've heard a lot about VeriCut Force, for example. Is that supported as well?
VeriCut Force is a standalone product as well, so you can optimize all the feed rates, and you have an NC program that is a lot faster, so you can save machining time and you can also save tool wear.
Great, so that should boost our productivity as well then for the future, yeah?
Sure.
Brilliant, and we are inviting all our customers to download this EcoSpeed to learn by themselves the capabilities of the EcoSpeed along with CG Tech.
Okay, Luda, so that was a great insight into how we cooperate with VeriCut. So we've talked about how we deliver the machines faster, how we can install them on a flat floor nowadays, all the new faster technologies, so we've got a better, faster, more reliable process. It's easy to program, we have a post-processor in place and we can simulate the package. Now you said earlier that the simulation really is a true reflection of the machining process. Can you expand on that?
Of course. Next you want to get the component off the machine. And therefore you need the first component in quality on the runtime you're expecting. And therefore you need a rigid, fast and repeatable machine. You don't want to waste time and for reworking your component. And let me mention one thing, it's not about acceleration. The acceleration is not really the important factor on structural components. It's jerk, it's how fast you're achieving this acceleration. This is the key factor for quality and runtime.
Now this is really interesting for me, Ludo, because whenever we discuss speed with customers, they always talk to us about acceleration. Very rarely do customers understand what jerk is. Can you explain a bit more about jerk?
Of course I can. Therefore we have a small example of a small component which is running at low jerk, and the same acceleration, same kinematics, and then higher jerk with same acceleration and same kinematics. And the more red you'll see on those graphs, the faster the machines, the faster TCP is moving, giving you constant feed rate on your component. You won't see any defects there on the floors. You will have quick turnarounds in corners. You don't want to have any vibration there. And that's the key for reducing your runtime.
So if we look at a typical aerospace component, there's a lot of complex 5-axis features, there's a lot of fairly small pockets on some components. So the combination of jerk and acceleration then means that our machine gets around a pocket profile faster than other machines on the market.
Exactly. You can't afford dwell marks on today's components. You want to be fast around the corner. You want to be fast on the surface. And that gives you benefit in runtime for the highest productivity possible, as well as good quality with the first component.
Well, let's pick up on quality, because you talked about quality a minute ago as well. What do you mean by quality? Where would we have problems with quality?
Others would be expecting quality issues in corners, for example, or anywhere where the tooltip is not running at a constant feed rate. You will have marks on your components. You will then have to hand dress afterwards. You don't really see that at the time you're simulating the component. You see it first on the machine, but you won't see that with our EcoSpeed.
Now, I've been to various EcoSpeed installations, Luda, around the world, not as many as you for sure. But whenever I've spoken to customers, they're usually pretty pleased with the performance of the machines. And normally they've got more than one machine because once they've seen the benefits, they buy more. But if I was a new EcoSpeed customer, Luda, what benefits would I expect to see?
Of course, we just don't deliver a machine tool. We help you out with the full stretch, starting with the programming, the tool selection, the fixture design, simulation, and we will be on site to prove our promises. On your machine, we will prove that the runtimes we've promised will be kept.
What about training?
Training, of course, is very important as well. We want to boost your production as fast as possible once this machine is installed. So we are using the time this machine is being built to get your programmers, your maintenance up to speed to run this equipment as good as possible.
So Luda, just on the proving out of technology, what do you do for customers here at the plant before the machine leaves?
We will use the EcoSpeed F1540 on our shop floor to prove the productivity and use the time being while the machine is being installed to do all the programming to run off the component, and we can even use this machine to produce those components while you are still waiting for the machine.
Excellent. So I think we've really demonstrated here the benefits of turnkey and process prove out and our partnership approach with customers to really deliver maximise performance and training on the machine. But how do customers maximise spindle uptime?
Well, to maximize the uptime of the machine, we don't just bring the application engineers up to speed with turnkey components. We also have a wide range of maintenance trainings. Have a look at our brochures. Our interest is to keep the customer happy. And he's happy if this machine is running 24/7 at 100% uptime. And that's our target.
Well, finally, Luda, I'd just like to ask you, for companies that are looking to engage with Starag, how do they engage with us?
Send us your components, challenge us, and we will support, and we will convince you.
Well, I've really enjoyed our discussion today, Luda, and I think it's shown that companies who embrace this technology and use our cycle times can really win new business. So thank you very much. It's a great insight how EcoSpeed can deliver profitability for our customers.
Thank you, Lee. Well, I appreciate your feedback. You're welcome. I'll be around here for the next couple of minutes for your disposal to answer any questions that may arise.
Thanks, Luda. So we've heard about the fast delivery of these machines, the flat floor installation. We can see that we achieve the highest metal removal rate in the market. We've got the highest reliability. We've got the highest support and turnkey capability. So this is not just about technology. This is really focusing on profitability, and this is how you can earn more money when cutting aluminium components. Okay, so if you're dialed in online, we can go to the question and answer session. Before we do so, we'd like to say thank you very much for listening. Thank you for persevering with us. We've learned an awful lot about profitability from Luda, and especially how we support customers with a very, very strong applications presence as well. So we have received a few questions during the discussion, which I'd like to pose to Luda. So Luda, thank you for staying with us. We've had a few questions. So the first question that I'd like to discuss with you is, why is EcoSpeed so highly profitable?
Well, two things. Fastest run times and lowest manual effort to get the lowest cost per part possible.
Another question is about the actual tooling itself, and what is the tooling interface that we use?
It's still our standard HSK 6380, so the drive docks from the A type to get the torque over, and the 80 diameter flange for tool stability. Along with the increased clamping force, we've got a very good tool stability there.
So when you say the 80mm flange for tool stability, what exactly do you mean there?
It's got a larger interface here, so you can use longer tools there.
So it locates on a bigger diameter onto the
Gives us
spindle
more
nose.
rigidity, yeah.
Super, thank you. Another question, good question this one. What footprint does the EcoSpeed 1540 machine have?
It's about 150 square meters. I think about 22 by 7 meters.
Another interesting question relating to the spindle itself is, does the system use flood coolant or is it only MQL systems?
No, we are supporting both, whatever the customer is preferring. Our machine now is supporting 50 bar through tool center, through spindle center at 20 liters a minute.
Another question about the F1540. What's the maximum payload for this machine?
It's 3 tons for the 1540, but it's variable, you know. It's 5 tons, for example, for a 2 by 6 meter pallet.
What is the chip-to-chip time on these machines?
15 seconds. On any of the EcoSpeed F, it's 15 seconds.
Really good question here is, do we have any preference on the cutting tools?
Performance. I don't prefer any specific supplier or something. We are testing all the tools ourselves. We are supplying a recommended tool list with recommended cutting data, with a lot of roughing tools, a lot of finishing tools. And that's free for all customers to use.
So because of your team's know-how and the fact that you can push our own machines to the limit, we know exactly what the best tool for the best application is on the market. Fantastic. And just one more question I'd like to touch on with you today. It says, what is the average metal removal rate?
I honestly don't really like that kind of measurements. It so much depends on the part complexity, how big is the component, how much stock material do you really have. But I think we have a very wide range of different processes where we know the runtime about, the size of the component and so on. And this is available for our customers to compare their components to those. And otherwise, I'm asking our customers to challenge us, you know, it's about their component. So, but we want to have a specific look. We don't want to have any thumb values. We want to have a specific look at those components.
I'm going to ask my own question here on the metal removal rate. So if we're roughing with, let's say, a 50 millimeter diameter insert cutter, how deep and how fast do we actually go?
For example, with a 50, you're running at 21,000 RPM, 15 to 80 millimeter depth of cut at 12 to 14 meters feed rate.
And that's why we say chips make money.
Exactly.
Well, we finished our discussion on profitability and what we can get from the EcoSpeed machine. The chat will stay open for a few more minutes, so please fire us any more questions that you have and we will get back to you with them all. Alternatively, you can email us at info@starag.com. So we're finished up. Thank you very much, Luda, and we'll see you again. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today and to give us the chance to bring you closer to our unique EcoSpeed machine and its capabilities for the aerospace industry. I think we could answer most of your questions we were asked during the event in the chat room. However, we will make sure and do our best to get back to every one of you who's still got a question outstanding. This is really important to us and one of the main reasons for an event like this that there are no open questions. I'd like to finish by saying thank you. And if you still have any questions after the event, don't hesitate to contact us via info@starag.com or visit our homepage www.starag.com. And we look forward to seeing you at one of our upcoming events. Take care and all the best. Thank you.